Welcome back to Tansy Academy. In this video, we'll be looking at casting from one data type to other in chapter 7, lesson 39. So what is a cast function? Cast function is used to convert one data type into other. Okay, it is part of a SQL standard and is widely supported across major platforms like Mysql, Postgresql, Oracle, and SQL Server. Purpose to change a column's data type for compatibility with other columns or expressions, to allow proper formatting or transforming of data during a query. So this is syntax. You say cast, you have some column name here, and then you say what are you, if it is integer you want to change it to decimal, you can do that, or you can change from decimal to integer, or let's say you have a string but actually there's a date in the string, so you can change the string into date if it's a valid date. Okay. Limitations, loss of data. Conversion between certain data types like from decimal to int can lead to data loss. Example, your decimals will be lost. So this might be you cannot say that a given customer's balance, let's say in reality if his balance is like 100 or 50 cents, you cannot change to 100. That 50 cents is also like a big deal when it comes to banking. If you have 50 cents at each customer level, and if you have 1 million customers, then you're talking about a lot of money. So even though it's look like okay, I'm losing the decimal, what's the big part, but it is very serious issue. Okay, so you need to be very careful when there's a data loss. Incompatible types. If the data cannot be properly converted, example, attempt to convert a non-numeric string to an integer, errors will happen. Let's say if you are trying to convert ABCD into integer, ABCD is a string, integer is number, so it cannot be done, so you will get errors when there is no compatibility between what you are trying to do. So you also have cast, convert, and format functions. These are all depending on which DB platform. So mostly they are also used for the same purpose, to convert data type from one form to other data type. So we will take a look at these examples in coming slide. So use cases: if you want to convert a string to integer, converts a string, like see here, for you this 1 2 3 might be looking at integer, but I have single quotes here, so in then it might be possible that this 1 2 3 is stored in a varchar data type column. That is possible in some cases, like in phone number. Most of the people store phone number as a string, okay, or numeric. If they want to store dashes in between, they use into varchar for storing a phone number. Okay, so in such cases, like if you want to convert a string into integer, you can do that using this cast function, or you can convert integer to string. Let's say you have stored your phone number, right, and then it is stored as integer, but you want to print this phone number along with the name. So that means you have to first convert this into a string, then concatenate, add this with the first name or last name, then both they will be printed together. Okay, in some cases if you are trying to print name as a varchar and integer as an integer together, you'll have issues, but some DBs they will allow you to do if there is a compatibility. String to date, if you have a date within a double quote, single quotes, it's a string, but you want to convert to a proper date format, you cannot say that whatever is in the string should be a valid date to begin with, otherwise you'll get error. Date to string, you can convert a date to string. Decimal to integer, let's say converts a decimal value to integer, that means you will be losing the decimal part, the fractional part. Number to float, you can convert a number to float, converts a number to a float. Trim and convert, removes spaces from a string and converts it to another string format. Numeric to boolean, SQL Server allows casting a numeric value like 1 to true or 0 to false. You can convert to a string to decimal as long as the value is compatible. Time representation, converts time strings into time type. Datetime manipulations, convert datetime values to date to remove the time portion. Boolean to integer, converts boolean values like true or false to integer representation as 1, 0. Datetime to integer, converts a datetime to Unix style timestamp. You call this epoch. Currency string to decimal, converts a currency string like this to a proper decimal type, removing this currency symbol. So here are the few use cases, like about 20 use cases. We'll go maybe 2 to 3 a slide. So let's see here. Cast a number to float. I say select cast 1 to 3 as float. So what happens? The output will be 123.0. So it will add the decimal values. Okay. Here 1 to 3, even though it looks like a number to you, as it is encoded in a single quotes, this is a string. It is stored in varchar, right? So I want to convert this to int. So this single quotes will be removed, and I will get it as this. And 1 to 3 is like integer because I do not have a quotes. But if I want to convert as a varchar, you can do that, and this will be your output. And this is important. You are trying to convert this string as a date, you will get this output. But again, if this is invalid, let's say you have 2022, again you have 2022 instead of month, that means it's an invalid date, you will get error. So the value within the string should be a valid date before you can convert a string to date. Okay. Again, casting a date to a string, again you can do the reverse way. Okay. You can convert a decimal to an integer, you lose the fractional part. Okay. And here you are trying to convert a string as a time. Here you are trying to convert cast a string, this is a string, to a decimal of 3 decimal places. Okay, in the second slide, see, you are saying cast true as varchar, so it will be coming as output with the single quotes. Here you are again cast a float to an integer, you will lose this decimal part here. Here you have a date time string, you are converting as date, so it will truncate this time portion and it will give only date. Okay, so this is how you can use these cast functions to convert one data type to other. But you need to see a live demo of how and where it is actually used, right? Let's say I have a date dimension table here. So this is the data for the date dimension. I have date ID, I have calendar date, I have month start date. So my calendar date is defined as date. Okay, it's like a table to store all the calendar dates, 365 rows for a year, or if you are storing data for 10 years, you will have 3650 rows. And this is my transaction table. I have transaction ID and transaction date. Here the created date, the data type is date time, so I'm storing date and time here. Okay, now I want to write a query to join these two tables on the calendar date and created date. Again, mostly people think that you can write a join only on primary key, foreign key. That's wrong. You can write a join on any column as long as the data type is compatible and it has a business meaning. Okay, I cannot say join on transaction ID to this, it doesn't make sense. Okay, so coming back to the point, I'm writing, so I have transaction ID, I have created date, transaction ID, created date, and then I want to print the calendar date and to check whether this was the first of a month. I want to check if my transaction was ordered on the first. So first will be this record was ordered on the first of the month. This was ordered on 15th of month, so I should get 0 or I should not select. So out of all this transaction, I want to select the transaction that were ordered on the first of any given month. Okay, so here in this table on a given calendar date, I mark it as first. So if it is 2/1, I will have 1 saying that okay, right, that particular calendar date is the first of that February, so I have 1, right? So this is my query. I join both transaction and date dimension table on this created date and calendar date. So now coming back to the point, right? So whenever you are doing joins, make sure this both data types on either side are same. But the problem here is created date is defined as date time and calendar date is defined as date. When you run this, even though you don't get an error, maybe you will not get the output because 2025-0101 is not equal to this because there is a time portion in this, right? So to do joins, you have to convert either, you can convert this to a date time or you can convert this to date. So what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to convert this date time to date only. So this time will be truncated and you'll left over with this, and then this value will be compared with this value and you will get what you are looking for. Okay, so this is how sometimes you have to convert into integer or integer to integer to decimal or decimal to integer, but this example deals with the date part, why you actually need something like this, why you have to. So when I say this, actually what is happening is it is converting the data type of this date and time to date alone. So it is actually converting the data type. That's what is happening here. Okay, thanks a lot.